Meanwhile, in real life, white folk running around shooting up churches. This is what's going on. I'm not going to say the motherfucker's name that shot the church up. I don't even want to shout him out. What we're going to deal with is the fact that this country continues to ignore its problem. This country always ignores its problem and deflects the issue over to being black folk, which is why the FBI has the black identity extremists. Some of you have are privy to that information. If you're not, just Google black identity extremists. The FBI have come out and made this with some RBG shit and some Malcolm type shit, some Black Panther shit. They've made all of that a problem. If you identify with Black Lives Matter, that's a problem. Meanwhile, they're ignoring their own pathology. They always have ignored their own pathology. They always ignored their own fucking mental illnesses and make them pay attention to us. Now you got this white boy that run up in this motherfucking church, shot down, I want to say 20 people and a newborn baby, if I'm not mistaken. This dude, let me tell y'all what I've read about this dude. Is what I've read about him is that he was discharged from the military because he made threats to his officers about some guns. Like, motherfucker, I'm coming here and murder y'all. Obsessed with mass shootings. This is on his now profile that they're reading after the fact. This is what they'll do as they continue to criminalize the image of me and criminalize the image of you. This is what this government will do instead of dealing with its own problems out here. They still ain't gave us any motherfucking answers for the shit that happened in Nevada. I think about 20 people died here. About 50 some odd people died in Nevada. They're ignoring all of that. And if you say anything to any white folk about it, they'll want to talk to you about the hood and would be black on black crime. This is the deflection tactics that they'll use. And thus far, they've worked. Thus far, they've worked because one thing about black people is that black people are not paying attention to the tactics that are being used. They want to call people that talk about things like this, even your own, will call you a conspiracy theorist. They'll talk about that. You can tell them about COINTELPRO all you want to. You can talk to them about J. Edgar Hoover and the task or the whole team he set up to come at black folk. They'll call you a conspiracy theorist for that. This is other black people. And white people, of course, going to use this narrative because it fits to, you know, they shouldn't be profiled. They shouldn't be the ones that, you know, people locking their motherfucking doors when they walk by. That's not the image that this society wants to perpetuate about its own people. Donald Trump come out and he said that this is not an issue, a gun issue, it's a mental illness issue. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about Donald Trump saying that, because when people were black people, I was seeing that black people were posting that. We're posting this bullshit. Well, Donald Trump said this. Every president that has come out, it doesn't matter the mass shooting that takes place. This is the narrative every single time. So it's not like Donald Trump is saying something that is different or new. I get tired of y'all acting like Donald Trump is doing some new hot shit or this government is doing some new hot shit. They always say it's a mental illness when it comes down to white folk. Period. They'll talk about the mental issue and they talk about the gangbanger that's shooting somebody in the hood. They don't talk about the pathology that comes along with that. They don't talk about the situation those black people are in when they are actually doing those types of things to one another. They don't talk about the programming that taught you to hate your motherfucking self and love them. Hate you, hate your own, love them. They don't want to talk about that, but they'll dig into the mental problems of white folk. Same thing, they've turned this opioid addiction that they have, this overdose, and these motherfuckers dying out here. They turn that into a mental problem. Black folk, we don't get that type of shit. We don't get that type of treatment. We don't even give that type of treatment to each other. Because that's not what we do. White people are on code. This government is on code with its own people at all times. So every time a random ass white man goes ham on his own people, they don't say or use the phrase white on white crime. They will not. use that phrase. They refuse to use that phrase. When in actuality, all it is that the crime or murder or rape or whatever you're doing is going to happen typically into those in the area around you, those in closest proximity to you. Doesn't matter who it is. You find a Chinese neighborhood, the crime that takes place in that Chinese neighborhood will be Chinese motherfuckers going ham on other Chinese motherfuckers. Don't nobody call it yellow on yellow crime. No one does that. Black people are the only people to get treated like that. Period. They will study the mentality of white people in this country to justify their very savage ways. Have been savage historically. Always have been. These things will be ignored. Y'all act like Donald Trump said some new shit. Oh, it's mental. It doesn't matter if Barack Obama would have been the motherfucking president. He would have said, oh, it's not the guns. It is the fact that this person has a mental illness because the NRA is lobbying, paying big money to the government. Even when they come out here and start talking about gun rights, understand that it's about money. The NRA is in the pocket, or the government is in the pocket of the NRA. So they'll talk about it. Make you feel like they're going to do something about it. Maybe they'll put armed guards at churches now. And when we talk about the church that got burnt down, I seen another story about a church that got burnt down by some other random ass white person. Because they love bombing churches. They love shooting up churches too, apparently. This is what the fuck they're doing. But this won't be dealt with as a, well, let's look at these people and see what the fuck is wrong with white folk. That'll never happen. This government won't do that. They'll try to foster up some sympathy in the people to make people understand that, oh, he was troubled. Not in the hood, though. The fact that you're waking up in a fucking war zone every day, you got crackheads running around here doing whatever the fuck they want to do. You're in conditions that are not fit for a child to even be raised in. But they don't even talk about that. A lot of these white folk come from two-parent homes. Two-parent homes. Now, what we're telling people about black people is, well, you know, if black people are raised by a single black mother, then it leads to these situations. It is the conditions that these situations, middle class white people have both parents, motherfuckers be making decent income and everything, and these motherfuckers still crazy. How do you explain that, white America? How do you explain this problem? How do you continue to be this fucking hypocritical and not break down your own people? This is what the fuck we're dealing with out here. And when you have other black people who will deny this information, this is conspiracy information, when it's very clear, the hypocrisy is very clear as how this country treats people of color. I'm not going to say I don't give a fuck about the fact that these people got shot up in this goddamn church. I'm not going to say I don't give a fuck. But at the end of the day, y'all keep ignoring your people. Well, this is what the fuck is going to happen. This is what's going to continue to happen because y'all are feeling real safe around middle-aged white men. Y'all feel real safe around them, and you shouldn't. You should be terrified. But that's not what white people being taught. They're taught to be terrified of me. I got tattoos and stuff. My pants ain't all the way up to this motherfucker, you know. I'm urban. So you supposed to be scared of me. And even if I put a goddamn suit on, my skin is black. So you still supposed to be scared of me. You're not worried about that white man over there who's more likely to shoot up not only you, but wherever you are, shoot up the whole goddamn building. This is what the fuck we're dealing with out here. And this society continues to ignore it. I'm not about to worry about this shit. These mass shootings, white boys, white men are running around out here killing white folk. That's what's going on. So that's not my issue. This country continues to ignore it. That's not my motherfucking issue. Until CNN, Fox, some of these fucking bullshit ass news stations, until they start digging into what the fuck is wrong with white folk, two-parent household, white privilege and everything going for them, and they still running around out here murdering their own people. And this country continues to make motherfucking excuses for it. How do you explain that? Oh, I had to refresh my shit. My shit froze up. My bad, y'all. Had to refresh it real quick. Understand that. Exactly. Some of y'all understand what I'm saying because, you know, Sharonda Antoinette says, those are the monsters they created. Shrug life. Man, I love you respecting that shrug life. But these are the people. Exactly. They continue to ignore these white boys, these white men running around out here raping and going ham. They continue to ignore them because they want everybody looking at us. They're killing themselves, overdosing on opioids. Now that's a mental illness, right? When it was crack, it wasn't a mental illness. It was a crime. You going to prison. But now they're trying to heal those people. Not dealing with the fact, well, what they addicted for. What's the problem with them? And we're talking about upper middle class white folk now that get addicted to pills. What's their problem? Had both parents, had everything. What's their problem? Because clearly you need to be looking at the mentality of these motherfuckers. But America won't. So the American people, and particularly white people, will continue to fucking suffer. And I can't really have any sympathy for that. I have no sympathy for that. This whole entire government is targeted towards black folk.